We're all fucked up. Stop judging yourself against other fucked up people who have hidden it better than you. That's all they've done. They've masked their shit better than you have, and now they're flipping it back on you and saying you're fucked up. I want you to realize that this world, life, is one big head game. And once you learn to play the motherfucking head game, it's no longer a game anymore at all. You start living your life.
The problem here with this type of energy is that it ultimately leads to unhealthy detachment and a not relatingness. If you have people judging each other and thinking they're better than others in other ways, you don't have people learning from one another and growing on that account or appreciating others for their differences. What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about the dark side of Pluto and Aquarius, possible negative manifestations of this energy. So, let's get into it. Before we get into it, I want to give a big happy birthday to my book here, Astrology of the Matrix. It turns 3 years old this year, and this represents a lot of my journey and how I experience my existence. Many of you enjoy my work, my thoughts. This book will grant you more access to that. And I plan to expand upon a lot of the teachings in this book. So if you're interested in it, it's on sale right now. It's a part of a bundle. You could get my album, The Son of Gemini 2, as well as a PDF copy of this book for just $19.99. So check it out, GeminiBrown.com. Let's get into it. Here we are, y'all. Pluto is in Aquarius for good. We have the influence of fixed air for the next 20 years. And as some of you know, Uranus will also be going into Gemini soon, which will give us more air, more masculine air. So I think great things are on the horizons. But we always want to look for the pitfalls, the possible negatives, because they exist. And I got to be real with you. I see them manifesting already. And where I am in my journey is with an acceptance of these things. I'm a natural optimist, but through life, you get a sense of the ebbs and flows and just how things go. And here in this country, we're coming off the election, which is a really eye-opening, experience, and just understanding further how energy manifests and who it's manifesting through. So one of the first things I want to bring your attention to is the idea of rebellion. I believe that Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring an increased number of rebellions all over the globe for different reasons. These are mostly going to be like social rebellions. But the shadow side of this is that not all rebellions are necessarily for the right cause or even warranted. What I know is that group influence can breed what they call a mob mentality. And in certain cases, when really examined, people can influence each other to escalate things, take them further than they need to, and even at times forget what they're even escalating it for, which shows that they're just feeding off of the influence. This has happened within my country in little sectors. Particularly, we could see through the formation of the MAGA party and its supporters. It's been brought to my attention, particularly because I'm in the realm of education, in different places, like if a town itself is pro-Trump, that'll be reflected within the ideologies in the school and the students being encouraged to show that pride. There's been reported cases of racism in this modern day playing out over people's support for the MAGA party and things like that. At the same time, you'll have others who will intellectualize and tell you the MAGA party doesn't push any type of prejudice or racism. So that brings me to my next point pertaining to the dark side of this energy, which goes back to the idea of fixed air, is hyper intellectualism. What I always call Aquarius, like the God complex. So Aquarius itself contains this. I always kind of notice this with people with Mercury in Aquarius. So with Pluto here, this is going to be applied collectively. And how it plays into groups forming is that others are looking for groups or other individuals that support their God complexes, people that they're in agreement with. We can call these values, but depending on what we're talking about, it could just be your own dogmatic thinking. All of this potential exists within all humans, but we're at a point in human evolution where everyone can openly express whatever views that they may have. Now, going back to that clip that I played,
all fucked up. Stop judging yourself against other fucked up people who have hidden it better than you. That's all they've done. They've masked their shit better than you have, and now they're flipping it back on you and saying you're fucked up.
This is going to breed a certain type of energy while interacting with one another. And I simply call it prejudice. It's me prejudging you. But this prejudice isn't based on like race or how you may look. It's going to be based on the individual's own God complex, or the thing that, as we said in the clip, that they think they figured out that they're now using to exalt themselves and judge themselves over others. The problem here with this type of energy is that it ultimately leads to unhealthy detachment and a not relatingness. If you have people judging each other and thinking they're better than others in other ways, you don't have people learning from one another and growing on that account or appreciating others for their differences. Take it as someone who knows the energy and knows life. This influence that's set to come around is not going to be too nice. I'm conveying this message to you guys to be aware within yourself, to not allow yourself to detach that way. Now, what I do want to talk about, like real quick, is healthy detachment. Healthy detachment occurs when you're living by your virtues and your values. And it's kind of just like, yo, if that doesn't vibrate with me, it doesn't vibrate with me. But I'm not gonna condemn you or interact with you or send an energy your way because I think I'm better than you. I'm living my truth rather than intellectualizing it. And it kind of be like if anybody who's into astrology goes into a mode where it's like, I refuse to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't know this. Where I always tell people, especially like with relationships, we want to be open to attract, and then always know that parts of yourself get revealed in time, and that when someone's really for you, they're going to be open to the things that come with you, particularly if they're healthy things, you know. But shit, people accept lesser things than others. I really believe we need to be checking our egos here. And the reason this is key is because the polarity point of Aquarius is Leo. So the potential for societal narcissism really exists. If it's your true values, it's going to be felt or seen in a more natural or fluid way. For example, we know certain people in life who are just a little bit more materialistic. They like nice things. A person being liking nice things for themselves versus being, I'm gonna just use the word like a snob, those are two different things. So you can know that like I like nice things and not allow that to interfere with my interacting or relating. Keyword, being able to relate to others. So the next thing I want to highlight here is more centered on the individual. What I was highlighting before was how individual ways of relating will influence the groups that we're a part of, and then ultimately how we relate with one another. This is more so like going to touch more on like why the polarity point of Leo and your self actualization is important. And this falls in line with the idea of the social outcast, the person that just doesn't fit in, and as a result may rebel against the system in particular ways. In our past, we've seen this as the school shooters, the people who partake in public tragedies, things of that nature. I think that this energy might be amplified a little bit, and that we need to check on those in society that may not be feeling a part of the society. I want to point this out. There's a thing of the mind and the psyche and all of that. The better we feel about ourselves, the better we feel about our life and the world we're living in. I look at it that the reason the 10th house is like the highest position because that's representing your public standing in life, your highest position out here. Hey, that's how you relate, right? How others are seeing you, where you shine the most. And at the root of that is service, providing a service, playing their role. And that role gives you an ego. It gives you some sense of worth and all of that. The truth is like everyone doesn't fulfill their ego in the same ways, and we all don't feel the same about our accomplishments, right? Because we all have different standards. I feel those that struggle with finding that fulfillment, belonging in whatever way, and this is what it's a personal thing. You may start to see that person, like I said, become a bit more bitter, critical, removed from being able to relate to others on particular levels because of this lack of fulfillment. If I be real with you, in this regard, the world is only ramping up. People are becoming more assured of themselves and using the tools available to create. I love what I do because I feel like I allow people to create a path or understand their path or how to walk their path. Once you find astrology, you really shouldn't be clueless. At some point, you're just gonna have to decide, what am I gonna do? And then you learn yourself, like, okay, I have the potential to do this, but I tend to do this, so I need to get better at this, right? That's what I like to focus on. But I feel like the people who just aren't able to figure that out or fulfill themselves, because like I said, it's a Leo thing. It's a self-fulfilling thing. The idea is like, like a poor man can be richer than the richest monetary man based on his own internal happiness. And this is going to play out just in the scale of like, if you know how to make yourself happy, if you know how to make yourself useful, you're going to feel good about the experience. And then also I would say like, pay attention if this would be someone close to you. Let's say they never let you know they were a Trump supporter, but you just noticed now that Trump won, they're letting more freer thoughts out or whatever. Pay attention to those things. Not to say that's a bad thing, but just pay attention to your people and how they thinking and how they moving. I could keep going with this, but I really want y'all to focus on these particular messages that I presented. So chime in. Let me know if any of this makes sense. If you could resonate your thoughts, I'd really appreciate it. But it's my episode for today. Feel free to check out my website if you need a reading. Till next time, peace.